Good evening. Now it's 6. Why does the Petersburg Dan Sullivan have no party next to his name on the August primary ballot, even though the state's database says he's a registered Republican? We've been asking Alaska's Division of Elections that question for several weeks now. Last week, the department delayed our request for public records related to that decision. Now we have our political reporter, Will Courtney, in studio joining us about this. Will, you filed that records request weeks ago. What does their response say?
Yeah, well, Augusta, the elections director, that's Carol Beecher, says that they don't have to give us a reason for those decisions. Beecher told me in a letter the division, quote, will not identify the records sufficient to show how, why, when, or where decisions or actions occurred. They also argued our request falls under a more complicated definition over electronic services and products. Now, we disagree with that, given our request was filed as a standard public records request, which any member of the public can file. We specifically asked for all public records or communications related to DOE's decision-making process and why the Petersburg Sullivan has no party affiliation on the ballot. I also went to the division's office last month in person to ask how the decision was made after my initial calls and emails weren't returned. The division spokesperson hung up on me over the building's intercom, Augusta.
So, like you said, we don't have those records yet. The decision's been made, and we're told that the ballots have been printed. So what's next?
Yeah, well, that's what we're trying to get a better idea of. We do intend to keep pushing for these public records through any legal options available. We aren't the only ones asking this question, though. Just tomorrow, the House Judiciary Committee is holding a hearing on candidate eligibility requirements. Beecher and Lieutenant Governor Nancy Dahlstrom will be there to answer questions from lawmakers. I'll also be at that hearing, and I hope to have more to report tomorrow.
All right, we'll look forward to that. Will's got a full breakdown on our website as well, including how we got here. Will, thank you so much.
Thank you, Augusta.
The Supreme Court will review an Alaska bush pilot's claims that state authorities have tried to illegally seize his $95,000 airplane after a passenger brought a six-pack of beer on a flight from Fairbanks to the dry village of Beaver. That flight happened back in 2012. Kenneth Jopi has been suing to block the seizure of his plane. He was previously convicted of an alcohol-related misdemeanor charge, which led to 3 days in jail. Jopi argues taking his 1969 Cessna would violate the excessive fines clause in the 8th Amendment.
I just don't want to give up, and I don't want to be falsely accused of something. And there are a lot of inconsistencies in this thing. I'm not going to go into that, but and at this point, it's not only me, but it's the whole country. There have been a lot of abuses of this excessive fines and forfeitures.
Arguments in the case are expected to start in the fall. Jopi's attorneys argue Alaska's High Court only looked at the case in, quote, abstract terms and didn't evaluate if it was part of a broader criminal activity pattern. The Alaska Attorney General's office argues it was a, quote, fact-bound decision and should stand. We will keep an eye on that case. Now let's get on to some weather, where we're looking ahead to a couple of wet and windy days. Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry joining us now with the first alert to the timing of these incoming storms. Melissa.
Yeah, Augusta, we're already seeing the first one right now. We're starting to see that rain really ramping up on the Kenai Peninsula, winds beginning to increase even right here in Anchorage. And this is going to continue for about the next 12 hours. And then we have a second storm that's going to hit about 24 hours from now Wednesday night. So tonight, be prepared for those strong winds and that rain moving in. Wednesday, we'll see those showers early, but really that heavier rain is going to hold off until late into the afternoon, into those overnight hours. So if you do have some things you want to take care of, perhaps even traveling, the first half of the day will be a bit calmer, but then we'll see those strong winds likely again overnight into early Thursday morning. Right now you can see those treetops blowing in the wind. We are currently seeing wind gusts about 23 miles per hour out at the airport. Temperature just 55 degrees. That is more than 10 degrees below what's normal for this time of year. And you can see widespread weather alerts, flood watches, advisories, and wind advisories in effect. Again, we'll see those high winds ramping up tonight, and then again Wednesday night. Flood watches in effect for the Susitna Valley, another 1 to 3 inches of rain for you. And you can see it heavy rain spreading across the Kenai Peninsula, especially south along the Sterling Highway. We've seen some heavy rain there from Ninilchik down through Homer into Seldovia, all that pushing north and east. Seward seeing it coming down pretty hard right now as well. So again, it's back-to-back storms tonight and again Wednesday night that will bring this rain to the region. Heavy heaviest rain will be for those of you on the Kenai Peninsula and then also up into the Susitna Valley. You can see Talkeetna looking at close to 2 inches of rain from these pair of storms. Temperature-wise, we hold in the 50s tonight. A little bit of a break tomorrow morning, but don't be fooled. That next storm coming in Wednesday night. In Augusta, I'll have a closer look at that extended forecast here in a few minutes.
Lots to keep an eye on, Melissa. Thanks so much. Now let's get to our headlines. 2 men are dead after an overnight shooting at an East Anchorage home. Police say neighbors called in after hearing gunshots in the 8000 block of East 5th Avenue. Officers went out to that scene just after 1 a.m. Police say they found men inside with gunshot wounds to their upper bodies. Medics responded. Both men were pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators say they've made contact with everyone they believe is connected to the case, and they're not looking for anybody else right now. Police think it was an isolated incident. The victims have not been identified publicly yet. Police say names will be released after next of kin has been notified. Investigators are trying to figure out what led up to the shooting. We'll keep an eye on that story. Happening now, an Anchorage Assembly meeting with Assemblymember George Martinez at the center of 2 possible resolutions after a state campaign finance fine. When these resolutions were initially proposed, the Assembly chair noted that the legal process surrounding these disciplinary actions is largely uncharted territory. So a lot of the work that they've done in the past few weeks has been to understand what the Assembly can do, what comes next. Here's a live look from the meeting right now. We've got our Joe Allgood there. He's tracking the vote. He's tracking what happens in the meeting. Here's what's at stake tonight. Some Assembly members are calling for an investigation into a trip Martinez took for a conference in Puerto Rico. This resolution would also initiate removal proceedings. It says Martinez's trip lasted 10 days, while the conference itself only lasted 5. This accusation comes after state campaign regulators fined Martinez for improper use of campaign funds. He has since reimbursed his campaign and paid the $5,300 fine. In the meantime, there's another resolution that other members have proposed. It's an alternative option. This resolution would censure Martinez. In this case, he would keep his seat on the Assembly and receive a public reprimand. We have a crew there now, and we're going to keep an eye on the story. We will update you on the late edition and on our website. Alaska is experiencing a shortage of blood this summer. The time period between Memorial Day and Labor Day is generally considered the deadliest time of the year as more people head outdoors and tourism increases. Adrienne Peterson has more.
There was one year where there was several a day. It got pretty slim for a couple hours.
That's a stressful reality hospital staff members like Regal and Pugai have faced, and could again as the Blood Bank of Alaska faces a critical blood shortage during what is already considered the 100 most dangerous days of the year.
This summer's been pretty hectic in terms of the blood usage throughout the state. There have been a lot of traumas and just usage is up.
Last year, Providence Alaska Medical Center says it used nearly 200 more units of blood during the summer months compared to the winter. This summer, the hospital is seeing a similar increase.
And it is very scary when we don't have enough blood for other patients to treat them, especially the little neonates and the immunocompromised patients.
But it's more than additional accidents depleting resources.
There's less people donating because everybody wants to be outside and do all of the fun things that Alaska has to offer. And we just have less donors and people go a lot faster on the roads and we see a lot more traumas.
Those that donate blood on a regular basis are helping to keep supplies on shelves. But Pugai says more donations are needed to avoid a supply triage.
It goes up at least about 300 is from what I've been looking at, so the usage goes significantly up.
Donations that Dahlgren says need to come from Alaskans as supplies from the lower 48 face delays. Adrienne Peterson, Alaska's news source.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.